This week, we're visiting the Mount Moriah Cemetery. This cemetery was established in 1903 and it's located in Kansas City, Missouri. The Great Temple Mausoleum that's in front of us was completed in 1926 and it's in the style of an Egyptian temple and it's actually based on the Temple of Karnak in Egypt. In the center of this mausoleum is the temple room, and it is truly amazing. This mausoleum was built for use by the Masons, and there's lots of Masonic symbols around. But what's more abundant here is all of these architectural details that are absolutely wondrous. And this building is an Art Deco masterpiece. Inside here are numerous crypt burials, and there are 3 important people buried here, 2 in the mausoleum and 1 on the grounds, but I'm not going to tell you who they are until we get there. But even before we get inside, there are some very interesting features. 2 Sphinx guard the entrance to this museum, and I think they are very majestic looking. The entrance has a mixture of Art Deco, Egyptian, and Masonic symbolism, and the windows on the front of the door are absolutely fabulous. And Greg, he was certain that we were not going to be able to get inside this mausoleum. Well, you can only try, right? And I'm just going to apologize for the graininess of this footage because it is incredibly dark in here, and we did find a few lights to turn on, but they didn't help very much, especially when we go upstairs, which is the best part. It's super dark up there for some reason. It's much lighter down here in this basement area, and that's where we're going to go first, and then we're going to go upstairs. Okay, that is super creepy. As soon as I came down here, I could smell the smell of a cave, and I can feel cold air coming through here. It's a little creepy. Do you smell it? The cave? And down here it looks like there's a central room and there are 4 hallways, so we're going to go down one of them and check it out to see what it looks like. Turn some lights on. And we were able to find a few lights, and again, they don't help very much. But as we walk down this hallway, you can see on the right is a wall of vaults, and the architectural detail in here is outstanding. This is a grate. I'm assuming it's a grate, but the decoration over it is just so beautiful. And then there was this little hallway that pops off to the side, and you can really see another wall full of vaults. But they also have these little chambers, and I don't know if these rooms are all for one family or multiple people. On the gates there are family names, so I'm assuming that these are family vaults. Oh, look here. I'm not seeing many blank vaults so far, which makes me think that this mausoleum may be full. I mean, they have been burying people here for nearly 100 years, so it may be full. We're going to head upstairs to the main floor, and I want you guys to check out that archway. It's details like that that are abundant in this building. Mausoleums have been in use for thousands of years. Among the first were the pyramids of ancient Egypt. This mausoleum was built in the 1920s when Art Deco was in fashion, as well as Egyptian fever. Howard Carter unearthed Tutankhamun in 1922, and that sparked a revival of Egyptian architecture. I'll admit it, I do get excited about a lot of the places that we go to, but I am completely blown away by this room, by this whole building. There is so much detail in here. I really do feel like I'm in an Egyptian temple. And again, this was built for and by the Masons as their final resting place. And the skylight is an image of the heavens, and underneath there is a carving of the Egyptian winged sun. That is a memorial to William Frederick Kuhn. He died in 1924. He was a physician, and this memorial was erected by the Masons to honor him for a lifetime of service. Other than the incredibly impressive ceiling, each of the doorways leading to the burials have these beautiful archways, and some are even lit up. The four corners of the room have these beautiful large columns, and the toppers are called capitals, and they have lotus flowers. And for the Egyptians, the lotus flower was primarily a symbol of death and rebirth, and it's repeated here in this mausoleum many, many times. And this is one of those side rooms, and I'm not really sure why I'm trying to film through the gate. I guess I'm just used to having to film through things, but I did eventually figure it out. This is probably one of the biggest side chambers that I saw here, but what I really noticed was the decorative detail that was on this gate. It's the exact design that we saw underneath the sky ceiling, and it's an Egyptian symbol called a winged sun, and it's a solar symbol associated with divinity, power, and royalty. If you're new here, my name is Julian, and I go to historical sites to see what they can teach us. And if you're enjoying this visit, I would really appreciate it if you would like this video. That way, YouTube will push this out to other people and give me the incentive to continue sharing my adventures with you all. I mean, I'm going to go to these places anyway, regardless if I put them on YouTube. I do this as a hobby and not for the money. If I was here for the money, I would have quit a long time ago. My concern is sharing these adventures with as many people as possible, and I would be eternally grateful if you would hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm will push this video out to others. There's a lot of stained glass windows around here, and the majority of them are this lotus flower, but this one is so beautiful because the sun is shining through the window. So we're going to take a moment to wander around while I'm looking for this specific grave. And I did notice as we were walking down this hallway that they have these skylights that have the same design as the grate that we saw in the basement. So there is a lot of repeat design here, but that's okay because it's all pretty. You know, guys, this really isn't a historical site per se. The doors are open, obviously, because they want to make sure that the families can get in here to visit their loved ones, but this isn't a historical attraction. And I have driven past this cemetery hundreds and hundreds of times, and I've always been very fascinated by this place. My grandparents, they actually owned and ran a cemetery that had numerous mausoleums on the grounds, but they were not as nice as this one by any stretch of the imagination. And I didn't do much talking when I was in here because I was trying to be respectful. I mean, after all, this is a cemetery and the last resting place of all these people, and it is a wonderful place to spend your eternity. This place is wondrous. I didn't notice this until I was at home editing, but that piece of equipment that is straight in front of us, that is used for lifting the coffins and placing them inside of the vaults. This one's got a very pretty window.
Yeah, what?
Very pretty window. Here we go. This is what I was looking for right here. This is the grave of Russell and Clara Stover. They were responsible for Russell Stover candies. Russell Stover and his business partner, they actually invented the Eskimo pie, and it was so popular that people copied it, and eventually he sold the business and started selling his wife's chocolate. They opened 2 plants, one in Denver and one in Kansas City. Kansas City became the headquarters, and it remains the headquarters today, and it is definitely one of my favorites for sure. They make this strawberry cream egg during Easter, and it's really hard to find, and when I find them, I buy as many as I can so I can have them throughout the year. He died in 1954, and Clara, she died in 1975. On his marker, it says Ad Astra per Aspera, and that is Latin, and it means through hardships to the stars. This was the entryway that we didn't really get a chance to see. Look at those lamps. I don't know what we have stumbled upon here. Oh, there's a marker up here. This is good. We're still in the cemetery. I'm just out. We're not in the mausoleum anymore. And this is a huge, huge cemetery. And they still have lots and lots of acreage that has not even been developed for burial yet. Wow. I just don't even know what that is, but it is beautiful. I wonder if there's a bell in it. Let's go see. What is it? What is it? Memorial Tower, erected by Mount Moriah Cemetery to the memory of the veterans of all wars, and it was dedicated in 1937. Oh, wow. There's a beautiful lake over there, a little fountain area. There's just two slabs there. It doesn't really say anything or why there are two slabs on top of a concrete slab. Huh. Wow, I love places like this that just, you know, have significance. And this is a cool building, and it's right here in the middle of this incredible cemetery. Wow. How absolutely cool. All right, I'm searching all over the cemetery for Walter Cronkite's grave, and I cannot find it. I have spent 30 minutes looking, and I can't find it anywhere. And I am dying. It's so hot out here. No. I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, but what did I find here? Frank Land. Wow. That's a lot of information. Frank Sherman Land. He was a very impressive man, in my opinion. He was a Mason who founded the Order of Demole. So after World War I, he knew that many boys had lost fathers during the war, and they had no one to guide them on the path to adulthood. So he formed this order, whose sole purpose was to act as friends, advisors, and employers to these young men. And some of the members of this order were Mel Blanc, Paul Harvey, John Steinbeck, John Wayne, and Walt Disney, and it continues today as Demole International. It's kind of amazing the things that you can find when you're just walking around. He's a pretty impressive man. He was known by millions as simply Dad. Huh. Well, look, what's that? Greg has found Walter Cronkite's grave. Of course Greg found it. Greg, who I dragged to all these places with me. Greg, who doesn't really want to be here. Greg is the one who found it. Okay. Where?
In the middle one.
Oh, right. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Walter Cronkite was an anchorman for the CBS Evening News for 19 years, from 1962 to 1981, and he was known as the most trusted man in America, and he was also known for his departing catchphrase, and that's the way it is. He was 92 when he died. That's a very simple grave for such an important man. He broke the news that JFK was assassinated, amongst other things.
He left pennies on it.
Yeah. I don't know why people leave pennies. I have to look that up.
Pennies for his sauce.
Maybe.
Smart man.
Yep. Born in 1916, died 2009. Well, all right.
Lost me straight to him. I was the blue dot and it was showing me where it was.
Okay, so those of you who want to come and visit, there's the mausoleum, and you just take this road and it curves right there, and then you can walk up to the grave. Okay, don't be a dummy like me and not do your proper homework. But half the adventure is not knowing like what you're gonna find and what you're gonna see. If you research the heck out of someplace, then it's not as exciting. Plus, looking for that grave, I found something else kind of cool up there.